In this video, I'm going to share with you the best legal marketing strategy that every single law firm needs to prioritize. Yes, that means you too. In fact, I'll go so far to say that this legal marketing strategy is the past, the present, and the future for all small law firms. I know what you're thinking. Enough of the hype, Jarrett. What's the strategy? Building word of mouth referrals. I know. I'm stating the obvious here. Everyone wants a law firm that's built on referrals. Yet I still see a lot of lawyers and small law firms struggling to have that baseline amount of cases coming in because they haven't properly built their referral network. And I also realize that talking about word of mouth referrals is very old school. So it's not the sexiest topic to talk about in the legal marketing world, but it's the most powerful. Yes, I'm going so far to say that referrals are more powerful than social media ads, the ads that you see on buses, on planes, the crazy commercials that we're used to seeing on TV. All of those do not compare to the power of word of mouth referrals. So I'm here to make my case in point on why referrals need to become your top priority. All of this and more coming up. Welcome to Law Venture, a channel devoted to lawyers and future lawyers. My name's Jarrett Stone. I'm the owner of Stone Firm P LLC, and today I am your guide to building a successful law firm. And as a lot of you probably already know from other videos, my law firm, Stone Firm P LLC, that is, the quick little plug, is built on referrals, and I absolutely love it, and I'm here to tell you why. But before I do, one quick thing to mention. If you're curious on how I was able to build a successful personal injury law firm, then you should know that I'm releasing an online course that I'm calling the Personal Injury Playbook, or the PI Playbook for short. And with this online course, I'm gonna peel back the curtain a little bit so you can see how I built my law firm on a shoestring budget. I think with the PI Playbook, I'm going to do a launch to where it's first come, first served with a limited amount of people. So if you want to be one of the first to get access to it, then I'll slide a link above and I'll put a link in the description. That way you can learn more. And for those that are watching this way into the future, then the PI Playbook may actually already be released and you may be able to access it right now. If you're wanting to learn more on how to access it, you're going to want to click the same links that we're sliding above and that are down in the description below. Now let's kick things off by talking about where a majority of my referral sources come from. In particular, the list includes doctors, family members, Instagram followers, lawyers, and previous clients. By diversifying my referral sources, I've been able to establish a healthy baseline of potential clients giving me a call or reaching out because they've been referred to me by these referral sources. While having a steady flow of incoming clients and cases is absolutely great, there's a concept that I think can often be overlooked, and it's something that I really want to stress with this video because it gets to the heart of how powerful it is to have referral sources. Therefore, the first thing that we need to talk about is that referrals give you the best profit margin, hands down. Here's an example to help illustrate the point. I end up settling a case for, let's say, $9,000, nothing crazy. And that results in my law firm getting $3,000 in attorney's fees. Again, nothing crazy. Now, in this situation, if the case came to me by, let's say, a referral from a doctor, then that means I spent $0 in order to acquire this case, which means that of that $3,000 in attorney's fees, I get to keep the entire amount. There isn't any type of offset from the expenses that typically result with advertising. In other words, we're talking about the return on investment, or ROI. In this situation, we have invested $0 and the return was $3,000. That's a fantastic ROI. Let's contrast this case with another example. Same situation, but instead of receiving this case via referral, let's say I was running ads, and as a result, that's how I ended up getting this case. Now the question is a little bit different. How much money did it cost in order for me to acquire this particular client, which led to $3,000 in attorney's fees? This means that every dollar that I spent towards advertising is eating into that $3,000 of attorney's fees. To help illustrate this, let's use some numbers. If I spent $2,000 on advertising in order to acquire this client that ultimately resulted in $3,000 of attorney's fees, then my profit margin is really only $1,000. In my situation, if I take this case and end up only making $1,000, I have to ask myself, was it worth it? In most situations, it's probably not worth the time that I invest in the case. Now let's really flesh out this scenario. If a $9,000 case isn't viable whenever you're spending ad revenue, then that means that in order to get a case that is viable, you're gonna have to go after a bigger case. But there aren't as many bigger cases as there are smaller cases. And that also means that the bigger cases have more competition. So most likely in that scenario, what you're having to do is run more ads in order to effectively go after those bigger cases. But if you're spending more money to acquire that bigger case, you may find yourself in a similar dilemma to where the expenses that go into the advertising may not make even the bigger case a viable option. Quick timeout though, before every legal marketing guru out there is just dislike left and right. I'm just throwing out these numbers to help illustrate a point. If you're a rock star when it comes to advertising, to where you're having to spend very little money in order to get a lot of cases that net a considerable amount of attorney's fees, then do you. But the point that I'm ultimately going to convey is that there is no risk when it comes to referrals. There is some element of risk when it comes to advertising to some degree. Now, again, if you're a rock star with the advertising, then the risk could be pretty minimal. You just need to know what your limitations are and how much money you're willing to spend. And with this video, I'm trying to convey the message that if you're building a law firm, if you have a small law firm, then the risks that you're willing to take at this stage needs to be as diminished as possible so you can maximize every single dollar. Boiled down, for a small law firm, referrals are superior because the math is simple. Attorney's fees minus $0 equals amazing results. The second thing we need to address are the streams of referrals. My most consistent stream of referrals, which establishes a very safe baseline, comes from doctors. In doing so, the level of consistency, while it has its ups and downs, is a very safe amount, given that with my virtual law firm, my expenses and overhead are at a bare minimum. And for me, I was able to pretty quickly, once I went solo, establish a baseline of referrals coming from doctors, because several doctors only work with me exclusively with their PI cases. And again, if you're curious on how I was able to sell this idea of only working with my law firm exclusively, then check out the PI playbook that slid above earlier, and that's down in the description below. And here's the craziest / best part to this entire concept. The doctors who are devoted to growing their own practice are spending money on advertising in order to have their patients come in. And when it's time to refer their patients to me, in that situation, I'm piggybacking on the doctor's advertising in order to acquire that patient. And I spent $0 to do that. It's really simple. The doctor knows that I'm going to take care of their patient, and I'm also going to make sure the doctor gets paid. That way it's a win-win-win. As a result, it's the doctor's advertising and their building of their practice that pays for the clients that I end up receiving from them. And then with me not having any money invested in the case from the get-go, my risk in the case is $0 at that stage. And on top of that, that allows me, because again, I have put no money into the case, to accept smaller cases, because with the smaller cases, I'm not having to worry as much about the attorney's fees being eaten away by any type of advertising costs up front. By me taking smaller cases, that means that I'm reaching and helping more clients and more people. And it's those clients and people that turn into the walking billboards. And it's those walking billboards that allow me to reach more people. And that's what takes us to the word of mouth referrals from previous clients. You may need to replay the last 10 seconds for it to really click and register. That right there is an important concept you need to understand. In fact, I can confidently say that my previous clients are becoming my fastest growing source of referrals. But let's be real for a second. 10 really happy clients do not result in like 10 new cases. It just doesn't work that way. There's not an immediate cause and effect. It's all about increasing your odds to getting the next case. Turning a client into a billboard, I know isn't going to immediately result in me getting a new client, but it's a game of odds and it's a game of numbers, to where I also know that the odds of this person never crossing paths with somebody who needs a PI lawyer at some point is going to be fairly small. And if you compound that with more clients turn billboards, then that exposure and that reach just compounds on itself as well. For example, I've represented 3 hairstylists turn billboards. Actually, now that I'm legitimately speaking right now, I just realized I just signed up a 4th hairstylist on totally unrelated cases. None of them have ever overlapped by any means. This is just pure coincidence. Really, putting a monopoly on the hairstylist game over here. But let's just go with these 3. With the 3 hairstylists, they have been great referral sources because they interact with hundreds of people per year. And as they're talking with their clientele, if it comes up that their clientele has somehow been involved with a car wreck of sorts, they're dropping my name. And as a result, I'm getting these referrals coming from these 3 hairstylists, which is absolutely fantastic. And again, they're only 3 people, but it's their reach that is somehow piggybacking on my reach, or is my reach piggybacking on their reach, is what I should say. And I'm reaching more people, increasing the odds of these cases coming in. Now, I may not get another case from all 3 of them for the next year or so, but with them meeting and reaching 100 people plus per year, am I really not going to get another case from any of those 3 for the next 2 years, 3 years? I would say that's highly unlikely. And during that time, I'm representing apparently another hairstylist. So the odds are increasing of more cases coming in organically through the referral source of previous clients turn billboards. Hope you're starting to appreciate the compounding effect that's going on here. And truthfully, it took me a while of being solo before I started realizing it myself. But it really boils down to, if you have referrals coming in, you're able to take smaller cases, which means you're able to take more cases, help more people, and increase the odds of those more people turning into more billboards. And more billboards hopefully bring it full circle to where you're getting more cases. Quick heads up though, I did mention that attorneys or other lawyers are a referral source as well. In some cases, some lawyers, whenever they refer me the case, they don't want a referral fee. Other lawyers, they do want a referral fee. In that situation, I'm going to have to be a little bit more critical on whether or not I'm going to take the case, because I have to figure out, after the referral fee, is it really worth my time? The benefit here with doing attorney referral fees is that I'm not having to pay out of pocket for the referral fee. At least I'm not paying up front. Basically, what I end up doing is paying a percentage of the attorney's fees that result from a settlement to the referring attorney. So again, there's no risk there. It's just at the end of the day, once it's offset by that referral fee, the question is it going to be worth it? And as a final thought, I want to throw out there that I don't want you to mistake my love and appreciation for referrals as some type of opposition towards advertising. That's actually not the case. I think there's a time and a place for both. For Law Venture community members, I know most of y'all are working on a budget and most of y'all have a small law firm. With a small law firm, or for those that are planning on going solo, I think the best path to success at that type of size is to build your foundation organically through referrals. So you're keeping your expenses at the bare minimum, falling on a budget in order to establish that baseline of success. Once you've done that, then the question is, should you scale up? Is it time to scale? And if you think it is time to scale, I think that's the appropriate time in order to start running ads, in order to start investing into bigger cases or investing into more cases. And it's at that stage, once you have the foundation laid, you're able to build upon it and have more success. So don't think I'm opposed to ads. By no means am I opposed to ads. In fact, I've run Facebook ads myself. I'm just a massive proponent into building that strong foundation because I want everyone here watching to have massive success. And that's all I have. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, thoughts, or if you just want to say hi, leave those in the comment section down below. If you're still watching and you're a fan of referrals, then be sure to hit that like button down below. Don't forget to subscribe. And with all that said, I'll see you in the next video.